exhausting, deliver packages across the city on time. Most people didn't even look at him twice when he handed them their orders. To them, he was invisible, just another delivery boy blending into the city's endless rhythm. But that day, without knowing it, he was about to step into a moment that would change both his life and someone else's forever. He pedaled his worn-out bicycle along the narrow lanes, weaving carefully between cars and pedestrians, his uniform damp with sweat. People brushed past him impatiently. Drivers yelled when he was too slow, but he had grown used to it. His focus was always on finishing the day's deliveries, going home to his tiny rented room, and dreaming of a life that could someday be more than this. Yet even in the grind of his routine, he carried a quiet kindness in him, a willingness to notice what others ignored. He was the type of person who might stop to help an old man cross the road or pause to hand over a bottle of water to a thirsty stranger. These little acts never made headlines, but they shaped who he was deep inside. As he turned onto a quieter street lined with old houses and towering trees, he noticed something unusual. A little girl sat on the curb, clutching her school bag tightly, her eyes red from crying. Her hair was messy, her dress slightly torn, and she looked so small against the vastness of the empty street. Armand slowed his bicycle, unsure at first if he should stop. People rarely wanted to get involved in strangers' troubles, but something about the girl's trembling shoulders tugged at his heart. He parked his bicycle against a wall and approached cautiously. "Hey," he said softly, crouching a few feet away so he wouldn't scare her. "Are you all right?" The girl looked up, startled, and quickly wiped her face with her sleeve, as though trying to hide her tears. She shook her head silently, her lips pressed tight, refusing to speak. Armand's chest tightened. He recognized that look. It was the same expression he had worn many times as a child, when no one came to listen. "It's okay," he said, gently. "You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but if you're lost or in trouble, maybe I can help." The girl hesitated, her small hands gripping the straps of her bag. After a long pause, she whispered, "I can't find my home." Her voice was so soft he barely heard it, but the weight of her fear was clear. Armand's heart sank. A lost child sitting alone by the road. How many people had passed without noticing? He took a slow breath and asked, "What's your name?" "Meher," she replied, her voice breaking. "That's a beautiful name," he said, offering a small smile. "Meher, don't worry. We'll find your home together." Her eyes widened, searching his face for a reason to trust him. He kept his gaze steady and warm, like a safe harbor. After a moment, she gave a small nod. He extended his hand, but not too close. She hesitated again, then slowly placed her tiny fingers in his calloused palm. Armand guided her to sit on a nearby bench under the shade of a tree. "Do you remember any landmark near your home? A shop, a school, maybe a park?" he asked. She shook her head, tears streaming down her cheeks again. He pulled a water bottle from his bag and offered it to her. "Here, drink a little. It'll help." She sipped slowly, her breathing steadier afterward. Minutes passed and the street grew quieter. Armand thought about calling the police, but he worried the girl would be frightened. He decided first to walk with her, gently asking questions, hoping something would spark her memory. They walked slowly through the neighborhood, his bicycle trailing beside them. He pointed to buildings, shops, signboards, asking if anything looked familiar. At first she only shook her head, but after a while her eyes lingered on a corner bakery. "I've been here before," she whispered. Armand's heart lifted. "Good, then your house must be nearby." They turned into the lane near the bakery, and suddenly a frantic voice echoed, "Meher, Meher!" A woman came running, her face pale, her eyes wide with desperation. The moment Meher saw her, she let go of Armand's hand and sprinted forward. "Mama!" she cried, and the two collided in a fierce embrace. The mother fell to her knees, hugging her daughter so tightly it was as though she would never let go again. Tears streamed down her face as she kissed her child's hair over and over, whispering prayers of gratitude. Armand stood a few feet away, relief washing over him. He had seen enough in life to know the value of reunions, the ache of separation. He turned quietly to leave, not wanting to intrude, but the mother called after him. "Wait, please, did you bring her here?" Her voice shook with emotion. He nodded humbly. "She was sitting by the road. She couldn't find her way. I just walked with her." The woman's eyes filled again, but this time with gratitude. She stepped closer, holding Meher's hand. "You don't know what you've done for me. I thought I had lost her forever." Her voice broke. "How can I thank you?" Armand shook his head. "No thanks needed. I only did what anyone should do." But the truth was, not everyone would have stopped. Not everyone would have noticed. The woman pressed her hand over her heart. "You're not just a delivery boy today," she whispered. "You're an angel." The words struck him deeply. For a moment he couldn't speak. He had always seen himself as invisible, unimportant. Just another face in the crowd, carrying parcels from one place to another. But in that instant, through her eyes, he was something more. He had given hope, safety, and a second chance. And maybe, just maybe, that was worth more than anything he had ever delivered. The little girl clung to her mother, but she kept glancing back at Armand, as though afraid he might disappear before she could say goodbye. Finally, she whispered, "Thank you, Paya," her voice trembling but filled with sincerity. Armand smiled faintly and gave a small wave before stepping back toward his bicycle. The mother reached into her bag, pulling out her phone. "At least give me your number. Please, if ever I can repay this." Armand shook his head once more. "Really, there's no need, just keep her safe, that's all that matters." As he climbed onto his bicycle, the world seemed quieter than before. The city noises were still there, the honks, the shouting, the endless rush. But something inside him had shifted. He realized that life wasn't only about surviving each day or finishing one more delivery. Sometimes it was about pausing, noticing, and choosing to care when others didn't. He pedaled slowly, the weight of his bag, now lighter, though it was still filled with parcels. His thoughts drifted to his own childhood, the days he had felt lost, invisible, yearning for someone to notice him. Perhaps that was why he couldn't leave Meher alone, because in saving her, he was also saving the forgotten boy he used to be. As the sun dipped lower, casting golden light across the city, Armand felt a warmth in his chest that he hadn't known for years. For once, he didn't feel like just a delivery boy. He felt like someone who mattered, and though the world might still pass him by without a second glance, he knew that for one child and her mother, his kindness would never be forgotten. In their hearts, he wasn't just the man who carried packages, he was the stranger who brought them hope, the guardian angel who arrived when they needed him most. That night, when Armand finally returned to his small rented room, he sat by the window, looking out at the stars. The city still bustled, restless and loud, but inside he carried a silence that was peaceful. He thought about the countless people he passed every day, each one carrying unseen struggles. Perhaps he couldn't solve them all, but he could notice. He could care. And maybe that was enough. With that thought, he lay down, the sounds of the city fading into the background, and for the first time in a long while, he drifted into sleep with a smile. Because somewhere out there, a mother was holding her daughter a little tighter, grateful for the kindness of a delivery boy who became, if only for a moment, their guardian angel.